Hello and welcome to the Faith Building Podcast, episode 20 already, with your amazing host, Vladi Kuna.
And Norman Gräter. Thank you.
And today we have the topic of the week, and it's how can you be your highest, truest self? So many people are asking, so how can I be that highest, truest self, and what does it mean? And I will ask the master of highest, truest self herself. It's Vladi. So we just kick it off with the question, Vladi, how can I be my highest, truest self? And actually, what is it?
I love this subject because we're very passionate, both of us, about being the best version of yourself. And that's whether you say the best version of yourself or highest version of yourself, it's pretty much the same. It's what you choose to say. But because we work in this beautiful field, and for us, we look at us in frequencies, I chose the highest, and I like to use the highest, truest self because it's the highest the frequentional. The higher the vibration, your vibrational alignment is, the higher frequency you're achieving, and that means your high self. Now, why truest? Because so many of us are lying to ourselves sometimes, and it can be conditioned from childhood, or it could be just anything. The stuff you tell yourself, the names you're calling yourself. So being highest, truest self, or highest, truest, most authentic self, how can you do this? Just work on yourself. Stop comparing yourself to others. This competition is such a huge energy in the world these days. And if you just align yourself that it doesn't matter how fast or far you go, that's your personal choice. But be the better version of yourself every single day. So wake up in the morning and say day by day, every day, I'm better and greater in every way. Because the only competition you should ever hold with anyone is with yourself. If you look at yesterday, am I better today? Is my attitude better? Am I making better decisions? Am I a more loving mom or more loving friend, more loving wife? Whatever it is you're looking at. Am I a better author? Am I a better coach? Just focus on being better and don't compare yourself because you're giving away your power. So this is how highest, truest self, how can you become it? Just stop comparing yourself is number one. Number two, take responsibility. Take responsibility for your thinking, for your feeling, for your personal growth, and for every result you get. And it would be deviating to telling you, because this is what we talk every week about, like be what we manifest, what we would love, and what we don't want. What are you giving attention to? But going back to taking responsibility, stop blaming everyone, the government, the country, the people, the partner. And if there is something you're not happy about and you're really dissatisfied, maybe you're not happy at your job, or maybe you're not happy with your partner, or, work on it. It's so easy to run away and just avoid the problem, but that is not becoming a higher self. Because to align yourself to be the best version and be kindness and serving and causing impression of increase and just expressing yourself really amazingly in every way, that is the key. It's not about how other people react, or then it's easy for everyone to be happy if everything goes well. If we have amazing partner, we have a great financials, we have amazing health, we have a great job we love. It is easy to be aligned. But can you stay that when things go wrong? And again, we're talking about the living sense of going wrong in the 3D world when you're being challenged by something. Or somebody's really being challenged. So you could say, I hit my rock bottom. Sometimes people say that. And that's the point where you should stop and just change the way you look at the things. It's not the thing that's happened, but how can I find the good in everything and everybody is the key. Look at any challenge there is and see the good. It's like, what if this was a blessing? What if this, what I perceive as something horrible happened to me, what if I look at it as like, that is a blessing? Because when I look back, like Steve Jobs says, when you look back and you connect the dots, that's really easy, isn't it? Then you see so many times the biggest challenges. I know that I'm blessed because that's where I am. Because I grew from those. I really aligned myself through being in an environment I wasn't happy, being with people around, and I became really the best version of myself and then removed myself from that environment. But that's the difference. Don't run away from it and find a new job, find a new partner, get divorced. It's easy to just, like quickly give up. But work on it, because every great marriage, every amazing work, every fantastic health, love and relationships, and what else is there? Health, I probably mentioned, but all 4 quadrants of your life will be amazing if you take responsibility. You start looking, how can I get better? You don't compare yourself for anyone else, but just work on yourself, work on your phenomenal attitude, find good in everything and everybody, stop reacting and respond. That's such a huge key as well. And then you're becoming highest, truest self, because you're being authentic. You don't have to pretend. You don't look for approval, which usually comes all the way to childhood. And that was something Norman was talking about last week, which actually, if you go back to the episode 19 and listen to Norman and his explanation of the great version of himself, is sometimes we want to please parents, we want to please the partner, we just want to, but we haven't filled our cup first. And it's great, even if you're a giver, if you don't fill your cup first, then you can't give. And I remember when I've heard the first time, I thought that's not true, because if I'm giving, that's great, but you can't give what you do not have. So if you don't fill your cup first, then you're not really giving from that high self. You may be low on energy, low on anything, low on money, low of love, unhappy, not happy with your job. And that vibration, that's what you're giving. Although you don't mean to, but that's what happens vibrationally. So it's a very long answer to your high self.
And I love it. I agree 100%. And I realized that some people would now say, yes, Vladi, but there's always a but. And the but would go into the direction of, I understand it. I want to be my highest self. And I'm just being reminded of, I think it was Dr. Hawkins who spoke about the enlightenment scale, and the highest enlightenment scale was, I think it was called enlightenment, and
Yep.
there was a number. I think it was 800 to 1000, and probably as you're looking, you already have it. Yes, there it is.
It was close to 1,000. Yeah, you're right.
Yes. And I would say some people would then say, I would love to be enlightened, and I would for sure be there if, and you already mentioned a partner and children and probably colleagues, if there would not be someone destroying my good energy. And of course, you can walk away from friends, you can walk away from strangers that are just negative. Still, as most of us are in a relationship, and you said you should not change relationships, you should stick to what you have. What's your advice if somebody comes to you and says, yes, my partner is just not aligned with my scale of enlightenment frequency where I'm on right now, and I want to stay up there, but that we find a balance as he or she's not coming up, I have to go down, and this kind of destroys my frequency. What advice do you have for people that have the excuse like it's not me, but it's my partner?
I love this subject. I love this question, because this is something I'm still working on consistently. And I'm going to add this to you guys. This is a consistent work. It's not a week course which you take and then you just align to it. It is like the same way you need air and water every day to survive, and food, like this is actually a necessity in a mental world. And it is challenging sometimes. We find ourselves in challenging situations, like with the partners, with the kids, with a lot, like when you really don't feel it. But going back to very basics, physics and science and theology, is how many times you think what you don't like about your partner. I'm gonna put my hand in this because I worked through this with many coaches. It was something where I was like, but you don't understand. I'm studying these materials and I'm really aligning myself with my partner, or, friends around you don't understand. But really pay attention to where is your energy going. Dominant part of energy. I know from friends around, we focus on what we don't like. So let's say Norma mentioned partners. I really don't like when my partner just puts stuff on the floor, and he always does that. And, I'm saying he because I'm a woman, so I'm going to speak from my perception, but it goes both ways. If you're a male, this comes to females. There are things that we find annoying at the other part. And when you fall in love at the beginning, everything's just amazing. You ignore everything. And think about this. It's because we care about the other person and we love them so much and we're so happy in the relationship. We vibrate joy. And we would never allow silly stuff like clothes on the floor, on the partner not doing up the bed in the morning, or leaving his, toothbrush somewhere where we don't, silly things. You don't think about this because you vibrating love. So Norman talking about frequencies, the higher the frequency you are, you will not pay attention to silly little things. And it is just what it is. How can you turn this around? You stop giving energy to the things that you don't like. I've heard a story of an older woman who was talking in one of the podcasts, and she said, I was always telling him, stop leaving these muddy boots when we came back from walking a dog. And she said, I can never understand. He literally just takes off in the middle of the hall and keeps walking. For some of us, it's like, come on, could you not just take it in the utility room? It may be a silly example, but then when he died, she said, I miss those things. I all of a sudden stayed alone. And I realized that I didn't have someone to make a tea and I didn't have anyone to tidy up the boots. And I would have given everything just if those muddy boots were in the hall. And I could have had my companion instead of moaning about, something not being perfect in the house. So what she was talking about is we often realize things only when we lose them. So once we lose it, then we go back and saying it actually wasn't as bad at all because I was paying attention to the wrong part of me. It really doesn't matter that the partner leaves that and the clothes are hanging. Of course, we like tidiness. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying go over the board, but really focus on the good things. So if you focus and you can sit in the morning and give appreciation to your partner, because we're talking about partners. It can be anyone. It can be your business partner. It really goes to everywhere, to your kids, to your friends, to your anything you do, maybe your boss at work. And find, even if it's the most annoying boss or a husband or wife or anything, and something's not going right, say, what do I love about them? What do you appreciate them for? What are those things that really just make your day? That little hack they give you, or they just leave a sticky note on the coffee mug in the morning saying love you or have the best day, or those little things and we don't put enough energy sometimes into appreciating those little things. And very often we talk with Norman about do small things in a greater way, because that's the key of becoming a higher self. Shift the focus into what you love and appreciate about the person, and send love to those that really annoy you. If there is a person or situation that really upsets you or makes you angry or whatever the negative emotional state it causes you to be in, pause yourself, take a deep 10 breath and say, okay, what do I appreciate about them? Because when you lose it, you will realize that actually it wasn't as bad. It was actually okay. But what can happen? What is the shift that you really change it mentally? Because if you don't change it in your mind first, it will not change in your real relationships. It doesn't matter how much and whether you believe it or not, it's a law. So if you're focusing on all the, oh my God, tomorrow is Saturday, or here we go again, any kind of comments, putting you back to how we create the beliefs. We create beliefs in the situations that we experience, and we charge them with opinion in that particular moment. And then if we think about it more often, it just solidifies and becomes a habit of thinking. So if you're making statements, oh, my husband always does this, or my wife is always doing this, and my boss, he's always so demanding and stuff. Change the view. What's the good thing about that? Well, I've learned more and I grow. Well, actually, I'm learning to lose the control and become a little more relaxed, because the perfect clean house is not everything. It's better to be in a loving home than having everything sparkles when nobody can touch anything, because the energy. So I want to find an environment of love and joy. And it's so many times that actually whatever is happening in the real life is because you're desiring it. If there's something deep inside you that you would love to be loved and appreciated and seen and heard and respected. And pretty much it's all of us, whether you're a woman or a man with a female or male energy, or a female with the male and female energy. We all want to be seen. We all want to be heard, and we all want to be appreciated and respected. It's very simple, but it really starts with us. So when you're not happy with your boss, find the things you love about the job. Even if it's 2 out of 10, you still focus on really finding it. Sorry, I need to plug this. Norman, I need to hand it to you because my battery is running also. I'll be back in 10 seconds.
It's real life. It's like if you watch the YouTube version, you just saw that I moved 2, 3 times. I'm still on a cruise ship and I'm hiding in one of the conference rooms as I thought it's good light and it's empty and it's quiet, and it's quite hard to find a quiet area on a cruise ship. And now, as you saw, that the sun changed because I think we are moving. And it's something like Vladi just shared with now. It's the power of, and there's always something, and you want to make it perfect, and you have a certain set in your mind, and you say, oh, I want to have it like that. And then life comes in the way. The partner comes in the way, colleagues come in the way, whatever comes in the way. And it just diverts from the direction you thought it's going. And this also matches perfectly what we speak about. It's about focus. Do we focus the things that go wrong for the next 5 minutes and say, oh, why did this happen? Why now? And couldn't this have been stopped? Why me? I should have plugged the power in, or I should have closed the curtains, but I opened them that we have more light. But still, it keeps you focused on the bad thing. And what Vladi just shared, just change your focus. And I think meditation, in my mind, is a very good thing to divert the focus away from this noisy chatter in the mind and brings us back to peace and quietness, like looking into a candle or just listening to a sound. What's your routine, Vladi? I know you have a quite interesting morning meditation routine where you just do nothing.
Yes. You know, I guess I started this, it's actually not even a year. I think it's like 10 months. And because I'm busy and I like being all over the place and, I had to cut down. The advice I was giving you is because I went through it and I actually had to improve myself in that part. So that's why I'm kind of smiling and confidently telling you how to become higher self, because we're still working on it, every one of us, but it becomes so easy. It's just the beginning. But once you actually do it, my favorite part of a routine is 45. Now I am actually upping it up I want to do 50 minutes from May, but I've been doing 40 minutes, nothing. Meaning I sit down, I try to be outside because that is just better for me, but find wherever you feel really good energy in your home. If it's winter, like if it's outside, perfect. If it's in a forest, perfect. Wherever it is for you. If it's in a pool, go in a pool. But just do nothing. It's literally you sit and pay attention. At the beginning, you need to focus yourself on something. I usually watch the leaves, moving leaves on a tree, because I need some kind of distraction. Because your mind is like the busiest thing, like all these thoughts and what am I going to cook? And did I get everything ready for kids? And what's happening tomorrow? And it's like all these thoughts, it's like running like a train. And it takes almost 10 to 20 minutes. It's very individual, it's very subjective, but up to 20 minutes for you to quiet your mind, pretty much to a calm. And now I dare to say it's almost 25, 30 minutes when I feel like, whoa, now I'm in that space. And I call that space eye of a hurricane, because it doesn't matter how rushed your life is, how crazy it is, what's happening in your life. Hurricanes have this calm inside of them. You can look it up on, I would be talking too long here, but it literally is like how destructive they can be. They take everything around them, everything spins, and it's really destructive. But right in the middle of it, it's called an eye, and it's the calmest place. What if you were the eye of the hurricane? So if you're challenged at work and you're stressed and your train's gone and you missed it and you're late at home and then kids scream, they don't want to go to work, and then you have an important meeting tomorrow and one of your kids gets sick and your wife's not there, whatever, where you feel this almost hurricane situation around you. What if you could be the eye of the hurricane and just be? And now this is not easy to go into, but it can happen and you can practice this. The more you practice this, more often you practice this, you will control it. So when the situation comes, you can really shift fast into the calm. Because most of the things sorts themselves, you don't even have to attend to it. It's us having that control tendency. I have to handle it all. But if you actually allow it to just sort itself for a couple of days, I have a 3-day rule. If something is super challenging, for 3 days, I do nothing. And any thought regarding the subject, I said, okay, come back in 3 days. I see you. I've heard our mentor, Mary Morris, is saying, so this is not my tactic, but I've adopted it and it's been working fabulously. And be that eye in a hurricane. So that's my answer. The routine is the doing nothing. It's the most powerful thing I do. I still like doing the 5 minutes candle, and it still is challenging. For 5 minutes, like we're really trained, and I call myself pretty disciplined, and I have a day when I'm finding it hard. Because the thing is, just do it. Stop thinking, putting things on a list, and I have to do this. I'm going to add it to my list. It really enlarges the procrastination. And procrastination means that you're not making the right decisions, and it's allowing you to keep in that energy you don't really want to be. So if you make a decision, just do it. I know Nike's slogan, but I said it to one of my clients this week and he absolutely burst. He said, okay, that's why I'm writing my own board and I'm going to put it all over my house. Just do it. Because it's so true. It's as simple as that. And then quickly I'll just name, because I'm talking about it a long time because I want all of you to take. If it's 10 minutes you say that you will do it, then do it for 10 minutes. Don't go for 40 straight away. Do it in a small but consistent way. So if you say we will do it for 30 days for 5 minutes, that's perfect. It's more important to be consistent than to say you'll stick for half an hour and you just don't. Gratitude is always the best way to do everything. And reminding yourself of goals and having, whether you have a vision board, and I like vision board, but in my mind, I actually do my feeling the movie I want to be living in. So we may talk about this. Actually, that's a good, when I interview Norman next week, we can talk about the new world, because that's a passionate subject of ours. And that's the part, if you're meditating and you're imagining how would you love your life to be? What would be the ideal job for you? If you could have any job, how would you architect it? Like, be the architect, because you create your own world. Whether you believe it or not, you are creating it all the time. But make no mistakes. If you're giving energy to what you don't want, you're creating the one you don't want. If you're spending time thinking of what you don't like in your life, what's happening, and blaming government and blaming everything, you get more of it, because everything we desire multiplies. And the mind doesn't really care whether it's positive or negative. It multiplies. So do gratitude, because that hooks you to the frequency of abundance. And that is the number one discipline everybody should do. I don't think there is a person who doesn't feel better feeling gratitude for things and people and what's amazing in your life. And again, focus on what is amazing in your life. And then in a present tense, focus on what you would love, but be grateful for it as if you already had it in your life now. So always talk in a present tense. Even if you don't have it, feel it. How does it feel now that you already have what you would love? And go into that feeling and practice it as often as you can. And my very strong business and personal discipline is I write 6 tasks every evening and I plan it for every day next day. I'm not talking to-do list. I'm almost talking to be, who am I going to be in order to be the person what I desire? So it's, what is your goal, dream, and desire? And is it leading into that goal? So those 6 tasks for me are, let's say, if I want to publish another book, it would be something to do with the book, or something to do with the clients, with the coaching, with my studying. It has to be aligned to my dream. If it's something like I want to wash a car, that's a to-do list. And that's got nothing to do with this disciplines towards your goal. That has been my lifesaver, because next day I wake up and I know I will deal with those 6 tasks in order of the importance. And I put number one, the one I want to do the least. Because if you can get as a number one task, you can get that out of your way the earliest possible in a day, then you set yourself for success. Because we really are trained and we are habitual creatures, and most of us push the stuff we don't want to do to the life. But remember, that stuff is staying in your mind whole day, and you're thinking of it, oh, I still have to do that later. If you take it out of your way straight in the morning, then you feel like, oh, you know what? And now you just flow, and you're just going to tick the other 5 things. If there is something you don't do, be easy on yourself. Say, I'll do this tomorrow. I move them to my list to next day. Like, really, this is for you to get better, not for you to start feeling guilty and talking to yourself as a failure. You're amazing. So just say, did I do the best today? And if you didn't, say, okay, tomorrow I will. Because no way I'm going to kill my time like this today. Just acknowledge it, be aware of it, and move on. And there's many, many more, but these are the core disciplines which I swear by.
And I love them, as you know. And these were great advices. And I think if people listen to the episode over and over and over again, you always get another golden nugget, because Vladi just bombarded us with some positive ideas, if it was the candle or the stillness meditation, the walk she mentioned earlier, and so many more things. And this brings me to my final question for today's episode. Who is the biggest, grandest version of Vladi that you can imagine?
You know, I have one goal. I don't know, I should openly state it because I always keep all my goals secret. I like to show them before I talk about them, but really,
Always
I think
share what you
everybody...
want to do. The rest you keep to yourself.
You know what? I would love to master my mind and help others to do the same. That person I see is helping billions to really awaken and really become the highest choice version of themselves. And don't be controlled by what's happening in the world and by the paradigms, but really live the happy life. Because we're chasing somebody else's dreams. We're conditioned from a childhood to do something so people think we're better versions because we have better degree. And I've realized in my life, I've changed and I transitioned so many times, and I love my life. And I realized that really the best thing you can have is have amazing people around you, happy family, great friends, and do stuff you love and really enjoy your work. Because then it makes you happy and you just enjoy the journey. And this is our subject with Norman. So that version of me is enjoying my journey and helping others to do the same. It's just find joy in every moment. You don't know how long you're going to be here. None of us knows how long. We might not be here tomorrow, and I hope we are here because we're planning to have a party on a boat where we're 100. But, you know, the truth is we don't know. And I want to be the version of myself that on the day I will be dying, I say, I lived my life well, and I've managed to do so many things I always wanted. I am happy the way I did. And to be fair, even if I die tomorrow, I can happily state it today. I mean, there's so many more things I want to do and be and become. But up to today, I'm so grateful for everything I've done, and even the adversity, because I go back, any adversity and challenge that happened to you, I feel that they were my blessings because I pushed myself to completely different direction. And sometimes we just need a push because the higher power knows that we don't have enough strength to leave the job. What if that thing that's happening to you and you're not happy about is the biggest blessing in your life? You're just not seeing it yet, because that's what it is.
And out of all this, out of all this wisdom, as a little bonus question, what's the one thing that you do every day, and just one out of all the things you shared with us, the one thing where you say, I make sure if I do this every day, I will end up at my best and greatest version? What's the one thing?
I do study every day. I love studying. That's my magnificent obsession. If I can read something and dwell on it and think how I can become better, because I am in love with these masters, and the mind work really fascinates me. So that's my everyday. I don't want to lose the day. And even if I'm remote in the island, I want to take my books, at least one. Yeah, that's the one thing I always do. Even if it's a paragraph or something, I have to study or read something. but with a grateful heart. It just gives me so much joy and gratitude, because that makes me feel that everything I have in my life and the people I'm surrounded by is just a blessing. And it's not, like, please guys, we're all humans, and I want you to feel like if you're having a bad day, I have them too. Like I am not just happy all the time 100%. If people say they're happy 100%, they're lying, because it's not even possible. But it's just focus on the good things and surround yourself with the people, because really it is the joy in a journey. Like I'm grateful to have people in my life, because that's the fun part. If you're alone, you can be the richest, healthiest, wealthiest person alone. You're not enjoying this with someone else. I would not find that fun.
And I think that's the advice of the week, that we say, to wrap it up, have fun in what you do. At least have fun in whatever you do. If you do 1 step, if you do 10 steps or 100 steps a day, if you read 1 page or 100 pages a day, it doesn't matter. Can you make it fun? Because if you do it in a fun way and in a grateful way every second, this is what you're sending out, and the frequency of fun or the frequency of gratitude or whatever you're sending out will come back to you. And this leads us right into topic of next week, as Vladi already had the idea, the old and the new world. So we look forward to episode 21, and we see each other again next week. All the best and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.